All right, so it's almost time to leave Detroit. Today we've got a fairly big day after a big day at the motor show. We're basically heading out to look at a couple of GM facilities. The first one, we'll be looking at lightweight materials, so aluminiums and the type of stuff they're using in cars now to make them more efficient by being lighter. And we're also going to have a look at some advanced battery technology. So this is a look at some of the stuff that we're normally not allowed to see, because this will be a top secret facility, the GM campus. So they're letting us in to see some pretty cool stuff. So we'll have to see what's on offer there. And then it is a late night flight to Nashville, Tennessee, where we're going to be driving the Trax, the updated Trax and the Astra sedan. Thank you for tuning in to my first video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of them. Remember to subscribe and stay tuned. So we've just arrived here at a GM facility. It is a top secret facility. It's called the GM Design Dome. And here they basically have clay models of future cars, and this is where they show them to all the executives before they get the approval. Now, it's a big dome that was sort of original to this design center where GM's located just outside Detroit. And what we're doing in there today is having a look at some lightweight materials. So let's head inside. So you can see in here, it's called the Design Dome because it is literally a massive dome. And what we've got on display here is the Cadillac CT6 shell. And what you can see is they've pioneered stuff like this. It's extruded aluminium, so that's there for strength and also to save weight. And they've also pioneered basically composite steel and aluminium. So they're doing is welding them together so that you can use your strength of steel and the lightweight elements of aluminium as well. Now, this is kind of cool. This is basically a cutaway of a Corvette, and you can see there the full aluminium structure. If you have a look closer here, they're all now engineered to have the ability to be convertibles, whereas previously it was very much a coupe thing where you extracted all your power. That's really cool. They're a big V8 engine, and you can see up the back here the transmission and also the limited slip differential. Now, one of the other things they've been working on, and that is absolutely cool because I reckon it's just a fantastic little car, is this thing here. It is the Chev Bolt. It's of course the all aluminium and also electric car. So you can see inside here is basically where the battery cells sit. So they sit under here, and they're inserted into the car from beneath. And these guys have used a whole stack of different materials here to make the car as light as possible and to give it that range that it's got, about 240 miles, which is pretty impressive. The other thing they're working on as well is the use of different materials for body structures. So, for example, this door frame over here is made out of magnesium, weighs 4.6 kilos, whereas the equivalent in steel, where you have to bond multiple parts, 8.9 kilos. So it's a saving of about 50% that you would otherwise lose. So it's an impressive setup. And then finally, the other one that they've got here is a structure that they're able to make by heating and then blowing with air. So it's a hot formed magnesium sheet, about 30% lighter than aluminium. So this is where the future of this technology is going. It's all very cool stuff. One other thing that I forgot to mention is that this is actually where they filmed the Transformers film, which is really cool. So another squeeze of this dome. So basically it was destroyed as part of the filming. So it's been recently rebuilt, and it looks like it does today. So in addition to the stuff that I showed you before, we've also had presentations from product experts as well. We had a chat to them about the Corvette and what would be required to turn this into a mid-engine car, because as you know, they are working on one. So this is the way that we try and get answers to certain sneaky questions. But yeah, very cool to be visiting this place, and had no idea it was actually part of the movie. It did look familiar. So we have arrived in Nashville. The weather is much, much better here. We got here late last night, and we are getting saddled up to do some driving. But before that, after the Dome yesterday, we actually went to see some advanced battery technology from GM. I wasn't really allowed to film in there, so I only got a few little snippets. But basically, to give you the lowdown, what they do at that facility, it started with 3 employees in 2008, and now with the expansion of GM's electric cars, they have 85 employees, and it has spanned to over 85,000 feet. It is absolutely huge. So what they do over there is they test cells, they hook them up to machines that basically allow them to drain and then cycle the batteries in different heat levels, so you can determine immediately whether it's going to survive, how long it survives for, and exactly what happens. They're also testing different types of cells. So currently they use like a thin-bodied cell that's stacked next to each other, that sits on the bottom floor pan of the car. They're also testing cylindrical cells like they use in Teslas as well, so that allows them to do different packaging. Now, we did get an exclusive story there because basically we spotted the shell of a car, and on that shell was Y1BC, which is the code name for a Corvette. Now, it's interesting because the battery centre is all for electric cars and hybrids. So when you see something like that, it tells you that potentially the next Corvette will be a hybrid. So if you head to caradvice.com, you can see the exclusive story I wrote on that. Now, on to today. The weather here is much better than Detroit. It's much warmer, and we're going to be driving 2 cars. So you can see over my shoulder there the Cruze sedan, or the Astra sedan as it will be known in Australia, and also the facelifted Trax. We'll catch up with them a little later on and have a look, but for now, I'm going to go get some breakfast. Right, so we've been out for a bit of a drive and arrived at this place here. It is a seriously cool town. It is called Leapers Creek. I bet I didn't pronounce that right, but check this out. And they're filming something over here, Billy Ray Cyrus's show. Never heard of it, but anyway. So I thought we'd have a quick look at the Trax. So the Trax has carryover engine, but the styling has been updated. It's actually quite a cool looking car, especially in this colour. Do a quick walk around here. So you can see the front's received a different styling treatment. Cool looking headlights there with the LED daytime running lights. The back is fairly similar. And then inside the cabin, it's received an update in terms of the styling. It still has the same sort of cluster for the Speedo and the Taco, but you now get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Armrests there as well. And then plenty of legroom in the back, which is kind of cool. So our drive route has taken us through some national park and across this incredible state. It is seriously cool, Tennessee, so it's good to explore this part of America. Next up, we'll jump in the Cruze sedan, and we'll have a bit more of a closer look at that later on. Remember, if you have any questions and stuff, just leave them in the comments below, and I can answer them while we're still here with the cars. And yeah. It's time for us to have a look at the Holden Cruze sedan, or the Holden Astra sedan as it's going to be called, or this right here, which is the Chev Cruze sedan. So it is actually quite a handsome looking car. So this will be basically the car that will be coming to Australia. Obviously ours will have a Holden badge, as I mentioned in the last video, and will be called the Astra sedan. So it's quite a handsome looking car. Plenty of room inside as well. But check this out, it's got really nice looking interior, and it comes with this new infotainment system that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It'll come with a 7 and 8 inch screen. This car's powered by a 1.4 litre turbocharged petrol engine. Plenty of leg room back there as well. And it produces 110 kilowatts of power and about 245 newton meters of torque with the manual and 240 with the auto. A quick look at the boot, because the boot's actually one of the most impressive bits of this car. Check out the size of that thing. It is absolutely huge. So I've been out driving this thing today, and it has been pretty impressive, I've got to say. So the Australian guys will actually tinker with this, and they'll be putting an Australian ride and handling tune in it. So it will have a unique tune to Australia with unique steering as well, which will be cool. And it's due to arrive in Australia around, I think it's around April, May this year. and it'll go on sale then. We've had fun driving it today. Tennessee is a seriously cool state. Lots of great stuff to see, some great food. So you're gonna have to work off when I get back to Australia. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comments below. You can also catch me on Twitter, twitter.com/paulmarrick, and Instagram as well, instagram.com/paulmarrick. And if you want to send me an email, you can just go to paulmarrick.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, keen to get your feedback. So where do we go after this? Well, after this, it is back to Australia. So we'll be flying out tomorrow morning, US time, and then it's the long haul back to Oz, and then back into another week of work. Next week, I've got a busy week with a whole bunch of fun stuff coming up. So make sure you tune in, make sure you subscribe, and keen to hear from you, and I'll see everyone back in Australia.